Hello, my name is Ben Lovegrove, and in this video I'm going to describe how you can cope with and eventually overcome social anxiety or social phobia. This advice is based on my personal experience of how I learned to control it and overcome it. I fully empathise with those who experience the symptoms and would like to pass on my knowledge to help others. If you suffer from this condition, then you probably already know that it can lead to feelings of isolation and depression. You may tend to avoid social interaction with others, and it may have a detrimental effect on your life in school or college, at work, or among friends. Not only do you feel stressed during simple interactions with other human beings, but you also wonder whether you're going mad, a freak, or just useless. So in this video, I offer the benefit of my experience. However, I'm not a medical professional, so if your symptoms are severe, then you should seek assistance from trained and qualified professionals. So let's begin with some definitions. What exactly is social anxiety? According to the Social Anxiety Institute, people who suffer from social anxiety or social phobia may experience anxiety and fear when being introduced to other people, being teased or criticized, being the center of attention, being watched while doing something, meeting people in authority, most social encounters, especially with strangers, going around the room or table in a circle and having to say something, interpersonal relationships, whether friendships or romantic. When I was a teenager, I could put a tick next to all those symptoms. You may be fully aware that logically there is nothing to be afraid of, but you feel the symptoms anyway. Social anxiety is not just the shyness we feel when meeting someone new, or the nervousness we might feel before giving a presentation. Most people experience those symptoms and they are perfectly normal reactions. Social anxiety is an acute or extreme form of shyness that leaves the sufferer unable to function and enjoy life at work, socially, or even at home with your family. Consequently, it can lead to low self-esteem and mild depression. It can hold you back in your career and social life. So let's work out some ways to deal with it. How to cope with social anxiety. Once you've identified that you're experiencing these symptoms, you can begin the process of managing the condition and eventually overcoming it. The good news is that the way ahead is clear and you can look forward to feeling confident and enjoying life. But you won't be able to build enough confidence to, for example, give a lecture to 500 people overnight. You'll need to take small steps and to build confidence gradually. The first step is to admit that, okay, Houston, we have a problem. It's a known problem and there are solutions. When I realized that I had a problem, I went to see the local doctor, and eventually I was given some pills that masked the symptoms but did nothing to cure the condition. Once I realized that these pills were not the answer, I worked out a real cure by myself. One of the first tools that helped me to cope is the habit of controlled breathing. At school, we were encouraged to learn to play a musical instrument, and I chose the flute. As you can imagine, in order to play the flute well, you have to have control over your breathing. So the first few lessons were all about learning abdominal breathing. This type of deep breathing fills your lungs to capacity with fresh air and empties all the used up air. It's a simple but highly effective method, relaxing your muscles by efficiently oxygenating your blood. It's the ideal way to begin any type of relaxation or meditation. It also helps if you feel a little nauseous for any reason, or when you just want to relax and wind down before sleep. I highly recommend you learn abdominal breathing so that you can use it whenever you need it. It's free, it works, and you'll find many uses for it. I cannot emphasize enough how important but effective this technique is. Master abdominal breathing and you'll use it throughout your life. Next, learn real deep relaxation. Another thing you can do is to find a local practitioner of complementary therapies. For example, an acupuncturist, reflexologist, massage therapist or similar. The reason I give this advice is because I want you to fully experience complete relaxation. Once you know what real relaxation feels like, it's much easier to relax yourself when you need to do so. Buy a book or audiobook on relaxation techniques and teach yourself how to find peace. When you're on your own and anxious about something that's ahead, then deep breathing combined with relaxation techniques will lift your spirits. If you're short of money, try your local lending library or use the internet to search for free advice on YouTube. Using deep, regular breaths and relaxing your body muscle by muscle, you will begin to relax your mind. Once your mind is relaxed, you can simply enjoy the experience or use the time to imagine yourself overcoming anxiety in specific social situations. Use body, mind and spirit combined. You can also learn how to relax properly and build confidence in yourself, learning some basic yoga, tai chi, or through non-contact sports like archery. Building body confidence will lead to mental confidence. If you can learn just how to stand tall, shoulders back, relaxed and centered, then you can use that knowledge and awareness when you meet new people. When you meet someone new, remember that feeling of being centered and relaxed. Look them in the eye and shake their hand. You may still be at the stage where you feel nervous making small talk, but at least you've made a good first impression. Next, set yourself some goals. Now that you've identified the problem, learned some deep breathing techniques, and experienced true relaxation, what else? My next suggestion is to set yourself some achievable goals. Each time you achieve a goal, give yourself a small reward and move on to the next. My social anxiety was so acute at times that the simple process of going into a shop, waiting in a queue, and paying for an item caused the symptoms to appear. So I set myself the goal of overcoming this first. I guess it was a form of do-it-yourself CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. I imagined the situation first, went through the steps in my mind, and imagined myself completing this simple task. Then I went out and did it for real. I remember the elation I felt when I achieved my goal and reinforced it by giving myself a reward. This turned out to be a vitally important step. You'll find most self-help books give similar advice. You have to learn how to visualize the situation in great detail while in a relaxed state. You then go through the experience in your imagination feeling confident and happy. With practice, you'll feel ready to go through the experience for real. Next, find other ways to build confidence. Since social anxiety is caused by interactions with other people, you could build confidence in yourself by learning something new that doesn't require so much interaction. You could learn a new skill or start a new hobby that gives you confidence as you get better at it. It would also give you something to talk about with others. Later, when you have developed basic skills, you could join a club and feel more confident because you've already mastered the basics. I learned to fly in my 20s. It not only boosted my confidence but also gave me something to talk about with anyone else interested in aviation. It's a great icebreaker, and of course, there are plenty of clubs and other activities that involve flying. You might find some other interest or hobby that you can enjoy alone, but which eventually leads to interacting with others who share the same interest. Now, a word about alcohol. Have you ever noticed how everyone seems to be so much at their ease and the party really gets going after the first drink or two? Most people feel more relaxed, talk more freely and loudly after a couple of drinks. Consequently, some people who suffer from social anxiety may be tempted to use booze as a crutch to lean on. Now, we all know that good health, deep breathing and conscious relaxation are the best ways to put us at our ease. But if you're socialising and it involves some drink, then there's no harm in using that first glass of wine or pint of beer to put you at your ease too. However, don't rely on drink to mask your symptoms. That road leads to worse problems. You can't use booze as a crutch at work or home, and it won't cure a thing. Stick to drinking only when the occasion allows it. Meanwhile, work on curing your social anxiety in healthy and permanent ways. Some final thoughts then. Most of the symptoms of social anxiety involve imagining that you are being scrutinized and judged by others. The truth is that people pay far less attention to you than you imagine. Most people are too busy thinking about themselves and their own problems and hang-ups. Take the example of one of the symptoms mentioned at the start of this video, going around the room or table in a circle and having to say something. Most people will be busy thinking about what they're going to say when it's their turn. Those who have already spoken will be just relieved their turn is over. Also, if you set goals and don't achieve them, or you just want a day off, don't worry about it. Sometimes you'll be ready to fight your demons, but sometimes you'll want to do something else. You're not a failure if you take the day off or retreat to try again later. As long as you challenge yourself more often than you take days off, you're still making progress. Finally, don't suffer in silence. I know you can feel low, but help is available. Once you take the first step by asking for help, you've made one of the most important decisions of all. Learn deep breathing techniques, full body relaxation, and seek out some professional advice about cognitive behavioral therapy. You deserve confidence and happiness. It's there, waiting for you. Start walking towards it. I hope my advice has helped. If so, please give this video a like, and if you have tips of your own, or you would like to share your experiences, or ask a question, please leave a comment below.